Dude, so there's just so many rules about dating that I just find really outdated and unnecessary. I got a hair on my leg, give me a second. So, anyway, yeah, like I was saying though, there's just some really stupid things that I don't like. For example, the man has to pay. I'm saying this as a woman, and I'm not trying to sound like a pick me. I don't go on dates. I don't really plan to go on dates anytime in the near future. But I think that when two people look, okay, two people are agreeing to meet each other for the first time to get to know each other. They don't, there's no guarantee that either of them are going to become a couple. This is not transactional. I don't think that a first date should mean that somebody's gonna get some that night. You know what I mean? I don't think that, oh, by the second date, you have to do it. That's okay. That's another thing for another time. Let's start with paying, right? Let's not jump into that pool quite yet. Okay, let's start with a shallow end. All right, okay. And it really is shallow too, to expect, and not just expect the man to pay, but to freak out when he doesn't. Which I get it. When you arrange the date, these sorts of things should be managed immediately. These sorts of things should be managed prior to the actual date. Just to break any awkwardness, to break any confusion. And honestly, if you guys can cooperate, collaborate, come up with a plan that works for the both of you, that's a good sign right there. So if you can't agree on who should pay first, I mean, that should be enough, right? So it shouldn't be this, I automatically think you should pay sort of thing. There's no unspoken rule. I think talk about it, discuss it in your text messages or call or whatever, and make a plan. So then the rest of the date, you don't have to worry about the finances or anything awkward like that. You can just, talk about, get to know each other better. You don't know each other. As a man, why should you owe it to this woman this expensive meal? Yes, you both ate the meal, but if she doesn't like you and you don't get along, why should you be the one to pay for it? I think at the very least, if you don't hit it off, okay, maybe if it's a successful date and you like each other, you'll say, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it, it's on me. But if it's not a successful date, I absolutely think that you should both agree to split the check. That's the mature, responsible thing to do. But I think initially, overall, for the most part, I think that women should have the right to. I think that the check should be split, or that maybe not necessarily that. Maybe the man can pay for the meal and the woman can tip, or vice versa. Or maybe the woman can pay for gas and the man pays for the meal. There should be some sort of, equality. There should be some sort of a balance, so to speak. Because, I mean, really, realistically, the point of dating is to get to know a person, and a lot of the time people want to go on a date so that they can, find their soulmate or find somebody who they will eventually marry. And in a marriage, there's going to be a lot of financial tension. Whether you share a bank account, who pays for what bills, who works, who doesn't. Maybe you both work. What bills are you paying for? Am I going to handle dinner tonight? This is going to be a lifetime of those decisions. So if you can't make it through the first date without freaking out about somebody because, oh, you didn't pay for my dinner. Bye, Felicia. I'm sorry, bro, but, seriously, that's not a good sign. Let me adjust my candle. I'm gonna burn myself. But yeah, as I was saying, I just think, that's just not right. I think that, and not only on an aspect of that, which is honestly the way you should be viewing it, is just the fact that it's the courteous thing to do, it's the decent thing to do. We'll put gender aside, we'll put tradition aside, and just look at it like that. that we're both mutually deciding to arrive at this place, enjoy this meal together. This is both our decision to get to know each other better. I don't think that that should be, all that should be put on one person. You both made the decision, so you should both be able to follow through with it and, make the payment or, come up with some kind of a solution. I'm not saying that the woman should pay for everything too. I think that it's really fair for you to both, chip in a little bit. Even if, say, the woman pays for gas and the man pays for the meal and the meal is more expensive, it's just the thought that counts. It's the act of, I at least wanted to do my part. And like I said, if you two hit it off, maybe one of you can decide, like, hey, I'm gonna cover it for you, it's no problem. If you guys hit it off, that's a courteous and nice thing to do. And I think at that point, if I'm the woman in the situation and the man tells me, hey, I really like you, and you're like, yeah, I like you too, let's keep doing this. He's like, okay, thank you so much, I'm actually gonna pay for the dinner today. I would accept it. I'd be like, oh, thank you. I'll pay for it next time. And then you can, switch back and forth. But, yeah, overall, I just feel like that's my general idea of that. Now, if we're talking about, like, on the topic of gender and gender roles, I think as a feminist, right, I believe, women have the right to do things, right? We're independent. Why should we rely on the man? Because we're always like, well, it's just the gentlemanly thing to do. Why are we relying on the man to pay for our food? Why? It's like, oh, okay, so we want to be equal to men. We want to be just like men until it comes to paying for a dinner. Oh no, then he has to pay. He's the man. So we'll throw tradition aside unless it comes to paying for a meal on a date. Okay. That's kind of weird. I don't like that. I just don't think it's fair to the man, and also as the man, like, doesn't that get exhausting? Don't you feel like you're being used? Don't you feel like it's kind of like, I don't know. For a man, I have sympathy, and for a woman, it's like, come on, do better, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a woman and I just don't feel like it would be right, like, always being like, you're paying for it, right? Like, no, why? Just because he has different genitals, just because he has, yeah, I just don't see what determines, oh, because he has a higher paying job or whatever. It's tradition. I mean, that's not true either. Women can have absolutely wonderful jobs. Sometimes, a woman with a good job might date an unemployed man or a man who works. You never know. Love is love. People are so different all around the world. It's like, even if I got a more decent job, which I don't at the time, I like my job, I like doing part-time, but if I got a more high-paying job, I still wouldn't mind dating a man who earned less than me. Because I want to get to know him as a person, right? I want to share common interests. If we were able to agree on the restaurant to eat at, we should be able to agree on, how we're gonna pay for it too, right? That's what, that's what it's all about, is compromise, being able to float away like a banshee. No, but, like, being able to, figure stuff out, together. But yeah, that's the first half of it. And then the second half that really concerns me is the thought of, like, well, after the second date, you guys have to have sex. That's so weird to me. You literally don't even know each other. The point of going on a date is so that you can spend some, like, individual time in a public place to get to know each other. It's a casual setting, so you can get to know each other as people, see them in real time, see how they behave in public around other people, and just get to know them as a person. Like, if you're into that kind of thing, that's totally fine. No shame on you for that. There are people who feel mutually about that. But for it to be a social obligation, I find that very bizarre. I mean, and I hear about it in media, you know, I don't really know anybody who goes on official dates. I don't go dating either. But if it is true, which I mean, I've heard people mention it in real life. I don't know. Um, but if it is true, I just think that's extremely disgusting. And who came up with that? Like, there's just so much things about it. It just feels so transactional and grimy. Like, oh well, you know, if he's gonna get some tonight, he has to pay for the dinner. Huh? Excuse me, bro, what? Basically, at that point, just hire a prostitute. You don't even need to get food involved at this point. If that's all you want, is just something to come into, and you have to pay for it, why even bother to get to know the person? You know? Like, no, that's not cool, dude. That's absolutely stupid. I don't approve of that. And that's basically what you're doing, waiting for the second date. Like, you what? Talk to each other for like a half hour? You learned each other's names, pets, and siblings? What? I feel like, I mean, everyone's different. Go at your own pace, but honestly, I feel like sex is something that you don't even get into until you're actually in an official, steady relationship. It takes at least a few months to really make that decision. At least, right? Am I crazy for that? At least a few months, at the very least. That's not something that you just, oh, hey, this is my second time seeing you, so, we gonna. No, bro, what? Y'all are crazy for that. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's real or not. Some of you people on here might be more experienced in that than me. If so, let me know if that's a real expectation, because um that's but yeah, that's about it, I think, as far as rules of dating that I can think of right now that honestly boggle my mind. If any more come up, I'll get back with you on that. But let me know if like there's anything else I'm missing. Um Thanks to my 18th subscriber, by the way. You're cool. Um yeah. Um uh